Hello, and welcome to New Teacher Talk, where we bring you essential conversations and tips to support aspiring and early career teachers. Whether you teach in a big city, a small town, or anywhere in between, we're here to help you succeed in your classroom.
My name is Ken King, and I'm an education professor at Aurora University in Aurora, Illinois. I'd like you to imagine a classroom where every student gets to be both a learner and a teacher, where understanding deepens not just by listening, but by explaining, questioning, and guiding someone else. That's the power of tutoring. When built into regular instruction, it transforms passive learning into active engagement. It strengthens understanding for both tutor and peer, and it builds a culture where students see themselves as capable, competent thinkers. It's not just a strategy, it's a shift in how we grow minds together. When used effectively, tutoring supports both the learner and the tutor. It helps clarify thinking, builds confidence, and promotes meaningful collaboration. In this podcast, I'll walk through how tutoring helps learners, how it benefits the tutor, a bit of the learning science behind peer-based strategies, and 3 practical examples you can use in your classroom. Part 1, how tutoring helps the learner. Peer tutoring offers several unique benefits for learners. To start with, individualized support is the first benefit. Tutoring gives students focused attention and tailored instruction, whether they need more time, extra practice, or different explanations. This one-on-one or small group attention makes it easier to spot and address misunderstandings in real time, especially when students are paired thoughtfully, such as matching higher skilled students with those needing support. Tutoring helps target specific areas of need. The additional practice and interaction lead to greater mastery of content. Another advantage of tutoring is it provides a safe place for questions. Tutoring often creates a more comfortable environment for asking questions. Learners may feel safer expressing confusion to a peer than to a teacher. Studies show that students enjoy working with peers, particularly when the tone is cooperative and not competitive. Tutors who maintain a supportive, non-threatening presence help learners feel more willing to engage and take risks. Tutoring also provides opportunity to clarify misconceptions. Peer tutoring helps identify and correct misunderstandings. Tutors often use relatable examples and student-friendly language to explain concepts. Research shows that peer tutoring significantly improves reasoning and comprehension. Successful tutoring routines include feedback and error correction, which clarify ideas better and improve understanding. Another advantage of tutoring is increased engagement. Tutoring promotes active learning. Rather than listening passively, tutoring encourages learners to talk through their thinking, to ask questions, and to get immediate feedback. This active engagement deepens understanding far more than passive listening. Talking aloud helps learners organize their thoughts and strengthens both working memory and long-term retention. I'd like to move on to part 2, which is how tutoring helps the tutor. In addition to helping the learner, tutoring offers real benefits for the student providing the tutoring. Important step in preparing tutors is to train them in the practices of tutoring. Tutoring doesn't come naturally to most students. Tutors benefit from preparation and guidance. Training helps tutors learn how to explain concepts clearly, how to monitor understanding, and how to offer helpful feedback. Structured programs, especially those with scripts or models, help tutors internalize good instructional strategies and deepen their content knowledge. Scripts and models act as scaffolds that help tutors focus on content rather than figuring out the process from scratch. By giving students a structure, for instance, a sentence frame, a modeled explanation, or a step-by-step example, we free up working memory, make it easier to focus on new information as opposed to the process of tutoring without overloading their skill set. Tutoring also reveals gaps in understanding. Tutors often realize what they don't fully understand when trying to explain something to someone else. As they tutor, they question their own thinking and spot missing pieces in their understanding. Supportive feedback helps them fill in those gaps and strengthen their own learning. Tutoring also builds confidence and communication skills in the tutor. Serving as a tutor builds soft skills, leadership, empathy, and communication. Tutors become more confident in speaking and explaining. They also gain social skills and develop greater empathy for learners who are developing skills. When students tutor others, they realize they know something valuable. Explaining a concept, answering questions, or guiding a peer through a task gives them concrete evidence of their own understanding. This builds a growth mindset, the belief that their abilities can develop through effort and practice. Tutors often realize just how much they've grown when they compare their current understanding to where they started. Watching a peer struggle with something they used to find hard provides a visible benchmark of their own progress. Tutoring also provides an opportunity for metacognition. Metacognition, of course, is thinking about one's own thinking. It's enhanced through tutoring. As tutors prepare to teach, explain ideas, and respond to questions, they become more aware of how they learn. Structured peer feedback and reflection reinforce this growth. Through structured interactions, students learn to assess comprehension, monitor learning, and adjust their explanation. These habits support deeper learning and longer-term retention in the tutor as well. Part three is a bit about the learning science behind tutoring. Let's take a moment to explore why tutoring works and why it does so well. There's several key ideas from learning science that explains its effectiveness. The first is called the protege effect. We often hear you don't really understand something until you teach it. This is not only a teacher maxim, but it's backed up by research known as the protege effect. Preparing to teach forces students to reorganize what they know and explain it clearly. This process leads to deeper thinking and deeper understanding and improved performance. When students prepare to teach others, they engage in what's known as elaborative encoding. This involves organizing, clarifying, and retrieving information with strengthened synaptic connections in the brain. The act of teaching activates multiple brain regions, including the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning and reasoning, and the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory consolidation. This kind of effortful retrieval and reorganization promotes neuroplasticity, reinforcing and refining the neural pathways related to the content being taught. There's also support in terms of the role of preparation. Effective tutoring begins with thoughtful preparation. Tutors benefit when they have clear goals, model questions, and structured guidance. Preparing to tutor increases metacognition and boosts instructional quality. Preparation activates the executive function systems in the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, which governs goal setting, strategic planning, and self-monitoring. These cognitive control processes enhance metacognition, the ability to think about one's own thinking. The act of anticipating questions or organizing concepts for tutoring strengthens working memory and builds stronger schema, or mental models that support deeper understanding and long-term transfer of knowledge. Repeated preparation and planning also helps automate some cognitive processes, making retrieval and instruction more efficient over time. Tutoring also serves to support improved retention. Tutoring reinforces learning through repetition and feedback. Students who engage in peer discussions retain more than those who just listen passively. Effective tutoring includes clear objectives and reflections on what was learned. Previewing the next topic helps build connections and prepare students for future learning. This repetition and feedback are essential for long-term potentiation, which is the process by which repeated stimulation of neural circuits make those pathways more durable and easier to activate later. Engaging in peer discussions adds a social emotional context, which the brain tends to encode more deeply than isolated information. Previewing future topics helps create anticipatory schema, which activates prior knowledge and priming the brain to form new neural links. The scaffolding supports the memory consolidation of the hippocampus and improves the likelihood of successful retrieval from long-term memory. Part four is a number of classroom strategies for peer tutoring. I'd like to share 3 practical ways to use peer tutoring in your own classroom. Peer tutoring rotations is the first strategy. In this approach, students take turns teaching each other in small groups. Each group prepares a short explanation or demonstration and rotates to teach and learn from others. For example, in a 5th grade lesson on phases of matter, offer these steps to follow. First, divide the class into 4 groups. Assign each group a topic: solids, liquids, gases, or how matter changes state. Then, second step, give students time to research and prepare a short mini lesson. They might draw diagrams, write an explanation, or create a simple demonstration. Thirdly, students take turns teaching each group. After a few minutes, they rotate to the next group until all topics have been taught and learned. Fourth, bring the class back together to reflect. Students share insights, surprises, and questions from their peer discussions. Fifth, and finally, you reinforce the key concepts and address the misconceptions. Every student has now explained, listened, and connected their ideas, leading to a stronger understanding. The second method is called a teach-back moment. After learning a concept, ask students to explain it to a peer in their own words. This deepens understanding, reveals misconceptions, and promotes metacognition. Here's a seventh grade example, also from science, on the water cycle. After a lesson on the water cycle, pair the students and say, teach your partner what happens to a drop of water as it moves through the water cycle. One student begins, so imagine a puddle on the sidewalk. The sun heats it up, that's evaporation. The water vapor rises and then cools, that's condensation. Clouds form and then it rains, that's precipitation. Their partner asks questions to help clarify any confusion. As they teach, students use hand motions, diagrams, and stories. You listen in, you note any gaps in their understanding, and then later work to reinforce key points. Third strategy involves lab partners or math buddies. Pair a competent student with a developing learner. The goal isn't just to get the answer, but to talk through how they solve problems. Here's an example from grade 4 with multi-digit multiplication. Students are learning to multiply using the area model. Some students are excelling, others are struggling. You pair them into math buddies. The stronger students, I multiplied 30 by 7 to get 210. Wait, why 30? Asked the partner. Because 36 is 30 and 6, and breaking it apart. That's called partial products. Lab partners or math buddies are the third classroom strategy. In this approach, pair a competent student with a developing learner. Their goal isn't just to get to the answer, but to talk through how they solve problems. Here's an example of strategy in action for a fourth grade classroom. After a lesson on using the area model and showing the standard algorithm for multi-digit multiplication, for example, 23 times 17, students are paired strategically. A confident math student is matched with a developing learner. Each buddy pair receives a multiplication problem, whiteboards, and markers. Instead of racing to get the answer, the goal is to talk through how they solve each problem. The confident student models are thinking aloud. First, I break 23 into 20 and 3. Then I multiply each part by 17 and combine the totals. The developing learner is encouraged to ask questions, repeat steps, and try solving the next problem, while the buddy observes and coaches. The teacher circulates, listening for mathematical reasoning and peer explanations. At the end of the activity, each pair reflects together on what strategy worked best and what felt tricky. The conversation helps both students. One explains clearly, the other gains confidence and understanding. Later, an exit ticket shows growth in both learners. The peer discussion gave new insight, and the teaching strengthened mastery. I'd like to close with a few tips for success. To make tutoring effective, consider these 3 tips. First of all, provide structure. Give tutors a process to follow, set goals, offer guiding questions to them. Secondly, monitor interactions. Listen for accuracy, respectful language, and engagement. Offer corrections as needed. Providing sentence stems is the third tip. Help tutors explain their thinking with prompts like, what helped me understand was, the way I think about it is, this reminds me of when we learned, or it's kind of like, you can also think about it like this. These stems can be posted in the classroom or practiced during tutor preparation. I'd like to draw things to a close and just mention that peer tutoring is a powerful tool for learning. It supports both the learner and the tutor, and it develops and deepens understanding while it strengthens communication and metacognition. With clear structure, guidance, and reflection, you can use tutoring to transform your classroom into a collaborative and engaging learning community. Thank you for listening. I hope you become a regular follower of this podcast channel. And remember, as a new teacher, we are here to help you.
Thanks for spending part of your day with us on New Teacher Talk. Stay in the loop by following @NewTeacherTalk on Instagram and Blue Sky. That's where we share our Tuesday teacher resource and Thursday thoughts. If today's chat was helpful, hit the follow and share it with your teaching squad. No matter what classroom you're in, we're here for you.